Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. You guys have caught me in the middle of a popsicle, so I do apologize there. But we're going to talk some price today. A little bit of Bitcoin, probably cover looks like Cardano, Matic, as well as there were some trades that we talked about a few weeks ago. So we just want to revisit those charts and talk about the areas of interest that we've been in. Max, are you going to cover any shitcoins today with the OI thing, or what are you going to do?
I will look at NIA and I'll look at Lena.
Near protocol and Lena. All right, cool. As always, guys, we start with Bitcoin, and we always ask, because we got to do the typical YouTuber thing. Do us a favor. If you haven't liked the video, smash the like if you enjoy the content. And if you don't enjoy the content, you can always hit the dislike button too, because I do get a metric from that, and it does help us kind of like curtail what we're doing to our audience. So all feedback is welcome, positive or negative. As long as it's directed at myself or Max. We won't tolerate negativity towards others outside of that. So just kidding. Unless it's XRP, you guys can definitely send it that way. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get this going. So Bitcoin is kind of doing something interesting. And what I mean by that is we've taken the local high, obviously, right? So you had your prior local high here at 31,069. And where we left off was, well, we were looking for a new high to potentially be made if $30,313.50 was claimed. We anticipated at least a new high, right? And we got exactly that. You go back down to the 1 hour here, and you can see that that was your resistance on a closing basis before the move up. We covered this the other day in the group. We do have some support here, a daily breaker right here at 30,500 even. You can see this is a nice swing fail level from this local high in April and is now being back tested over here. And we can probably get rid of this level here at 30,313. Not as relevant as one might think, but I am going to hang on to the daily breaker for now and maybe just get rid of the box to clean up the chart a little bit here because it's just no longer necessary. So where do we go from here? Well, you've come back and you have filled in the, I believe you hit the point of control from last week. I think it was sitting right at 30K, if I recall, from EXO. And that was kind of a big reversion. After you had this swing fail here, you could have traded for the weekly mean reversion, basically. Now, that is complete. That doesn't mean that there isn't another move down potentially coming, as you do have averages of price from the prior sessions down here. And you do have some things that are going to be generating very, very soon. Shout out to T-Bone for the indicator, some of the custom pivots that we do. And you can see that some of them are starting to come in this little region here, down beneath these local lows. So it is something to keep in mind, you know, and this daily breaker is a good level to kind of work off of. You can see it's been a good SR level. It'll probably become less relevant over time. But for me, at this time, I really want to see 31,069 reclaimed. And that is the local high from over here. You could probably shift this down into this high right here at 30,847 for a really, I wouldn't say aggressive, but a little bit more opportunistic shift. So if 30,800 is reclaimed, one might look for that move. Now, over the weekend, you guys had easy trades. In the group, just pointed out one really easy trade that was available, and that was going to be just a very simple gold pocket retrace, and also it was the prior local high, right? So you can see that right here. So this was your level, and if you recall, this is actually where our box for support was. So you buy support, you sell resistance. The short was the better play. We talked about it mainly because you're then looking to take that mean reversion down into the range. Okay, so very, very simple. The question is where we go from here. I do think that my preference would be a move lower still into these averages if it were me. However, again, where am I wrong? I do believe that I'm probably wrong back above this prior high at 31,069. And if you're a little more aggressive, you could probably move that bar to like 30,800. at that, like, this local high right here essentially gets flipped. So that's it. And if price does that, you guys know that we are looking at a gap up above us here. And you guys can see I also have a few other things on this chart, keeping this one pretty simple, to be quite honest with you. We had our weekly swing fail on our quarter 2 level, and you have your gap here. And what do you need to see flipped if you're going to look for that gap? Well, we just said 30,800 and 31,000 respectively. Essentially, you're looking to see if these last local highs right here can be flipped into support. And if so, this is going to be your gap. And this is about the window of time that I'm looking for. If that move is to occur, I'm looking for somewhere between July 10th and July 22nd based on fib time, which we've covered previously as well. So Bitcoin high time frame, super easy. Low time frames a little more questionable, because you do kind of like, you have to be careful here. There's a lot of people that are probably wanting to long this low yet again. And without a swing fail, I would be careful, because I do think that you run the risk of coming down quickly and, stopping, either getting stopped out in this region of the chart, or as most traders, they all have great stop losses. Max knows that. Just getting liquidated. So, which, if you trade liquidations, that might be what you're looking for. You never know. So, yeah, that's all I've got on Bitcoin. Very, very simple. The high time frames has not changed for us. We were looking for a new high to potentially be made. You have swung fail the high essentially. So the better trade is a hedge here. However, price isn't exactly breaking down just yet until it's essentially below the 29K area for me, about 29,182, which is the quarter 1 high. It's kind of where I start drawing the line on like material closes. If price can get back above essentially the last local highs over here and get that push above the range, I do think that you look for the gap fill up here between $34,000 and $35,000. I think that would be, probably a target most people are looking for as your next big area. So nothing shocking in that department. I'm going to turn it over to Max and let him kind of do his thing, and we'll get into some alts.
My screen. Okay, yeah. To be honest, it's been a somewhat slow day trading wise. You've had one good long, but it wasn't even, you didn't really take all the lows. So issue, and you didn't have a big drop in open interest as you came below them, which is what I kind of am looking for when I'm taking SFP trades. And you'll notice that right now, as we are where we are, we're not getting an SFP of what was the London high. Well, we are getting an SFP, but the open interest isn't really dropping as one would expect, which is an issue. So I would presume, looking at the really local uptrend that we've got, which has got bullish open interest, that we do continue higher, as long as you're holding, you'd argue, the weekly level or the previous day low, same, almost the same. So as long as you're holding that region, you would expect this uptrend to continue. And, you could do some basic fib work and just say, look, it's right on that region anyway, right on the weekly. So, as long as you're holding above that, one would expect this really local, I know I'm saying really local, like it's really local uptrend to continue a bit higher. I'd really be looking up to the previous day high. But like I said on last night's members stream, I think if you were to come up and take this high, we've not really had massive increasing open interest since this high was made. It's not been that large. It's mainly been down overall. So we've not got a ton of positions entering the market at this price point. So there's not going to be a lot of shorts. Obviously, there will still be some. There will still be a few, but there's not going to be a ton of shorts for this to be like a masterpiece of an SFP. Anyone that's entered short here, let's say, their stop losses are probably going to be at these highs, and most likely not at that. But you can see that when price was coming down here, it typically wasn't decreasing. And anyone that entered in this bit has probably put their stop loss above this high. So I'd really favor the previous day high getting SFP'd. I think if you were to get above here, you've got a lot of higher targets to aim for. And the areas for support for me right now are, we've now come in and minced around in this box a little bit today, but you can see that we got if I zoom in a little bit. So this box here, you had really large increasing open interest in this section of the chart here. So it makes it more important, than other consolidation points, because this is where positions have entered the price action. And what happens when positions have entered on both long and shorts? Well, they become support when you're above it, because shorts will close out when you get back to that price point. And we've minced around in it a little bit, and you've moved up again, and people seem to be interested in buying at these high prices, shorting too, but prices moving up. So it's aggressively buying up here, which is what you'd want to see for price to continue higher. And you are getting I've had this box on it. You're getting it's small, but you're getting a confirmation. You've come up, back tested, and up you continue. So I'm kind of cautious to take the SFP trade that we just had, especially when we don't have a drop in open interest, because typically when you get a drop in open interest, it can signal the end of a move. You simply just look at the high. When you get to the top, huge, it did go up ultimately, but you had a huge spike in open interest down. Here, you actually didn't get a spike down; it spiked up and spiked down again. So maybe that's what's occurring as of late. But drop in open interest here, price reverses. Drop in open interest here, price reverses. Drop in open interest at the top here, price reverses. And we've not seen that in this really local uptrend. So on the crack time frames, expecting it to continue. But if we are to come down and lose that weekly level where the really local gold pocket is, I gave this box yesterday. I actually gave it back when we were here last week. But we know that in this region, if we look at the open interest, huge increase in this very small consolidation right around the quarter one high. I would favor that to be some support. Now the question would be and I drew some pathways, but I deleted them, would be if we bounced from here and rejected from this consolidation, then you would favor a lot of downside, and that would be the perfect trade effectively to be able to get into the short if you reject from the consolidation. I'm not going into the Elliott wave theory where you go and try and predict that shit, but for me, I think that right now locally we're probably going to come and test higher. As long as you're holding these regions, there's no reason to jump into a short. This short would have been golden, super simple. Honestly, when people are like trading so hard, all you have to do is fib retracement and gold pocket stuff. My charting skills are very basic, but you really don't need to be a scientist to pull a fib retracement and take that trade. So yeah, Bitcoin for me, expecting higher as long as you're holding these consolidation points. But support here, favor a SFP from this high, but not this one. And I don't really want to get into the projection targets. It's not really my subject of it's not really my speciality. But yes, let's look at some altcoins. Nia has been on an absolute tear. Huge open interest increase with this move up. We're yet to see a really big drop in open interest. Granted, I am on the 1 minute, so I don't know where we are in price. Doesn't really bother me, But looking at it on the hourly, where would you expect this to come to? Because we've had a huge increase in open interest. Well, you'd expect it to come to some of these highs here. You've got a lot of liquidity, presumably, at these highs, because anyone that's entered short in this move, they are now trapped, and typically people place their stop losses above highs, as they should, or they just get liquidated. All that favors Nia to continue up a little bit. So maybe we can catch the end of this move. Areas that I'd be looking to get in at would be here. I'd be looking at SFPs. So for those of you that have watched the open interest video, the way that I would trade this is I'd wait for SFPs of your lows in order to get long, in order to continue on with the trend up. So as I know that there's still targets higher, in fact, let me mark them so I can put a box. This is the local one. Yeah, effectively there. See if I can catch it exactly. There we are. So, how much further is that up? Another 4%. Sweet. That'd be a nice trade, especially when getting it down here. Let me put the swing points and liquidity on. I think I definitely need to turn it down, because this was on Pepe, so it was on like millions. Yeah, there we go. So let's see what this gives us. Okay, add another 0. And they're all gone. We'll do 250 then. There's only the one there that's saying the high is probably going to get taken, but there will be a lot of stop losses here on the long side. And when you come and sweep the longs in, when you've had so many buyers come in, as soon as you start to sweep some lows, people get cold feet, they exit their positions. And if it's an SFP, you're decreasing open interest as you come into the region, it can offer a really nice trade. And then you just want to continue the trend up to the areas that you've identified of being the next stop point where the trend is potentially going to end, which would be for me those highs up here. So if we can get in a trade from these regions, let me draw a green box. Ideally this one is a potential one, or if you want to come a bit lower, you could look at this area here. These two regions, they're very close, but either way, you're just trading SFPs of the lows in order to continue with the trend. And your first take profit would initially be the high, the high that is with the trend. And the second take profit would be the highs where you've kind of identified that you believe the trend is going to end. On 5 minute, there's 750K in liquidity. I am on the 1 minute. Yes, look at that, lush. Caro, you go. Yeah, so if you come down, sweep this would be a nice region to get into. And the reason that you're only going to be trading an SFP in this strategy effectively is because where the hell are you going to put your stop loss if you're just setting orders here? Your stop loss is going to be not acceptable. So you have to trade SFPs, but then you just continue with the trend that you've got. And this is very bullish. If you had decreasing open interest in this would be where you'd look for shorts, because imagine the candles up are hollow, whereas here you've got a load of shorts trapped. So it's going to be support, and longs will get cold feet. And then once you've taken those longs out, it's a very good. It's very likely that you come up and test this region. I don't know why price would simply leave these highs given the uptrend that you've got. So yeah, I'd expect near to come up at least another 4%. And the areas that I'd want to get into the trade in line with the trend are these lows here for the SFPs. So that's the way I trade alts. Really easy. I don't love falling off with the charts. I really don't. And you can make a nice quick percentage out of it. Lena as well. This was a top mover earlier today. It has dropped off the. Oh, it's not. It's third. It did move a minute ago. Okay. So Lena, this one again, absolute beast. It really has been. This really is a good chart. Consistently, I feel like every week you have a day or two where it just goes on an absolute run, and the open interest is typically very strong with the move. So I don't know what this project is, but it's clearly got a lot of interest, and it does keep having these run ups where you have this one here would not be a trend that I wanted to get involved with, because you had almost flat open interest with the uptrend. But if you scroll back through this chart, here's a really good example of one you'd want to get in line with. And look, you had an SFP there, so it would have popped up on your radar. This is a top mover. You got an SFP of that low there. You also had SFP of this section of the charts here. No SFP there, unfortunate. No SFP there, but hopefully you would have been able to catch it early on in order to just run it up again. So honestly, when this thing moves, it moves. But yeah, that's how you effectively the strategy that I'm using. If any of you are not in the group and don't want to even do the free trial that we've got going on, you've effectively got my way of trading alts there. But yeah, I'd simply be looking for SFPs of the lows in order to continue up. This uptrend isn't the strongest, and but you are decreasing open interest as price comes down. The catch 22, I guess, would be if open interest started to increase as price came down, then you would be somewhat cautious with taking those SFP trades. But yeah, Lena, I'd want to continue with the uptrend. You'd probably look at this one now to get in line with it. So for me, Lena and Near are two ones that I'd want to trade. But yeah, other than that, I'm done, Magic.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to cover Matic and ADA, and we'll wrap it up. As Max did allude to, there is a free trial for anyone that's scratching their head. You get 7 days access to everything in the group, from the Discord to the educational material, which is a big deal because there's a lot of educational material. It's very in-depth. So you go to leadingcrypto.io. I think Max just put it in the chat as well. Just click the link and you can sign up. Easy peasy. We're going to take a look at Matic, and then we'll look at ADA. Both of them had harmonics we were looking at, if you guys recall. And we had outlined our zones. We had our B leg, our C leg, and this was actually just more of a pivots area. But we talked about why I took profits here at the July NPOC. I've just left it on the chart for illustration. It's also pretty close to this local low that you've now swept. And you can see we've done what? We said the C leg would be what we want to see recovered, mainly because if recovered and lived above, realistically, you pretty much start targeting the next blue box. That's why we put the boxes on our chart. And what does that give us? A really nice local high here. So if price can recover this zone right above it here at 69 cents up to close to 75 cents, to be quite frank with you. So, a 5 to 8% box here. You recover this little blue box, and well, you've got a decent size move up coming. So if you bought the dip down here, always have a plan. You've run into the first major resistance, in my opinion, just from a structure standpoint. And now you are looking upwards into this area. One thing I do want to do is we're coming into the close. And I want to check out some closures real quick on some ranges. Perfect. That range high is right where we want it. And well, the range low for this one, not quite there, but where do I become bullish on Matic again for like new highs in terms of like a trade setup is realistically probably back above the yearly pivot. It's way up here. Maybe the April NPOC if you're being pretty aggressive at $1.10. And then this begins to look like a confirmation low, and you have a trend that's trying to develop where if it does eventually make a new high, this was the trade setup into a partial decline, and now you're looking for a new high to be made. And does that mean a new all-time high? Not necessarily. It just means a new high. However, until then, this is a downtrend. This is a downtrend. This was the appropriate trade. Was this short? This was the target for me, just beneath the C leg of the bat. And so now we need to see this region of the chart recovered. And even without the harmonic on here and all the other stuff that we talked about, you can just look left and see this is where support and resistance is. Really not, is Max alluded to, it's not that hard. Sometimes charting can be very, very simple, and it can be very effective for that reason. So that's how I would look at it. If you get above 69 cents and you're living there, well, we're looking for that rise up close to $1. So otherwise, this is realistically where I want to, if price is going to make a new low, let's say alts do make a new low. There's a lot of people in that camp, and none of us really know what's going to happen. So we should just be prepared. Yeah, if I was looking for that like box that, people are like, where would you stack your bids? Like your, you're for like a rainy day bids, it'd be below 31 cents, down in this little area here at the March NPOC down to 22. But, that's not relevant until we lose 52 cents. It is a little bit on the relevant side because you're looking at this kind of like Max alluded to where, we don't do the Elliott wave stuff, but as you're coming up, you start back testing resistance and support. Old support turned into resistance. It does lead to generally good areas to take shorts off of. So if you're long off of this, you should be looking to take some profits until you have confirmation of a stronger trend. Or B, you can be patient and see if you can't get one of these moves up and take a short, because you do have some horizontal levels up here as well coming in at those resistances. So it does add up for a pretty nice recipe. I think we were looking at ADA USD. We looked at the USDT pair. Yeah. Yep, that's the one. So we talked about this potential shark as it was happening. He swung, fell the overall low, which is always ideal. It didn't quite get the extension you want to see in the 1.618, but pretty close. So kind of just chalked it up and said, well, realistically, we need to see what? The B leg, just like we did on Matic. Okay, so this is the coordinates were 30.75 and 29.76. And you can see we've come into this region of the chart and found rejection. So at least minor rejection for now. I shouldn't say it's a rejection. It's just, it's having some trouble getting through. So the areas on the chart are exactly what they're supposed to be. Support and resistance in this case. And this trade, if it gets underway, does have some very obvious targets. Since it's a shark, you target the 0.5 next. right? Your 0.5 comes in here, and that's quite nice, to be honest with you, coming into some daily levels here and some pivots. So if it were me, I would be looking for this to, get above 30.8 cents and then make that additional 5 cent move up, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that is 1/6 for this token. And that's roughly what, 16%, give or take. I don't have the math of the calculator on me right off the top of my head there, but it seems somewhere in that range. So not exactly a small amount of money to, or percentage to sneeze at. And the move off the low here has been pretty good. So if you were around the day we were looking for this and we talked about back testing this area of the chart, I mean, the trade was there, the setup and the stop loss, and you 38% just hanging out. You're not going to catch all of it, but you can certainly make some money off of it. I would assume somewhere in the middle. So if ADA fails here and comes back down to the 2023 open, you guys know me, I'm looking for like 18.2 cents on ADA still. I'm still looking for my doomsday box. And I believe it's actually on the USD chart, the original doomsday box from like 2021 when I joined up with CVO. So this has been my target for ADA for over a year and a half. And I've just been patiently waiting because even on this rally here, nothing took place that was relatively bullish. Again, just looking at the market structure of this, there is no, higher low, higher high fashion here. You've got your major low here, a major low here. Where's my next major high? It's so far away. The price really does have to recover quite a bit of ground. And, I hate to be that guy, but like 72 cents. You've got to turn this into a low. I mean, obviously, you're going to have confirmations before that for the local play to get involved before it's all the way up here. But, if you were looking for something to confirm that you should continue to hold those positions that you've been accumulating, this would be the level. You get above this level and you're going to damn near $1. You're going to go to 95 cents probably. So, keep that in mind on ADA. Otherwise, for me, I'm remaining patient. Not really doing much with ADA. I do have capital set aside because I would like an ADA position at some point. I just want it on my terms. And if I don't get something on my terms, I move on to the next asset. As I've gotten positions on my terms with almost everything else, Cardano is the one that is kind of eluding me right now, which is what it is. So for me, just remaining patient on these guys. The trade setups that we talked about, I think about 2 weeks ago, on the 10th of July or June for both Matic and ADA. Just wanted to retouch on those. As those were public videos, you can go back and view them. I think it was June 10th or 9th, I would guess would be the day, since we go live on Mondays and Fridays, would be, it would have been either the 10th that we talked about it or the 9th. No, we would have talked about it on Monday. Yeah, it would have been the 12th is when we probably covered this. If I had to guess, June 12th. So if you want to go back, you can review the video. That way you have the receipts. Otherwise, I don't really have anything else to cover on these. I just wanted to make sure we went back over it. You get back above this level, what are we looking to do? Probably run up and, challenge into some other areas on the chart, like 35 cents, give or take. So, Max, anything to add before we hop off here? I'm going to keep this one brief for Monday. Under 30 minutes with all those tokens covered is actually pretty decent.
Oh, nothing for me. ADA is the one that got away from you, mate.
It is. It'll be the one that got away. I'll be all right.
Are you sure you're not going to get like attached to it and get some detachment fucking?
Well, I'll probably start. Well, I'll probably start an ADA centric channel and just talk about it all the time, kind of like they do at XRP. And I feel like that's gonna really bring the value. I don't have any problems with ADA. They've got a huge community, but the token trade's quite nice, so good liquidity, things like that, and that's what you're looking for. So, all right, I'm going to reiterate: like, subscribe, comment. Kind of a low energy Monday, but it was a long weekend. But price action is going to get interesting here very soon, I have a feeling, and we go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off. Max, anything to add before I let you hit the end button?
Absolutely washed through the golden pocket. So,
oh man, going down now. Guys, it's
It-
$100 sell-off, so we'll see you guys at the bottom.
I'm on the 1 minute. Looks huge.
It looks huge on the 1 minute. That's what she said. All right. Anyways, guys, Max lives his life on the 1 minute. He is huge in Dubai. So we will catch you guys on Friday for the next live. Maybe we'll do an impromptu video or two in between now and then. So see you later. Have a good